This is an original copy of the fan club compilation called the Beatles Christmas album. I think that this is the one that came out in the US. And yes, I did have this confirmed that it is a legitimate copy. It's not a bootleg, because somebody on a vinyl community was trying to tell me that what I had was a bootleg. But it was some of the telltale signs to let you know that it is a bootleg. This is not printed on poster board. You can see the figures totally clear and not blurry. And it does say bell sound pressing in the outer groove. I got this sealed at the Fest for Beatle fans for about $50. So Joe, me, Mr. Mail, he wanted to hear some of my thoughts on the upcoming Christmas records release. I'm excited. I'm excited because I wanted to own it legitimately. I've wanted to have these in my collection. And I like the fact that it's going to be on colored vinyl, and I like the fact that these are going to be, they're going to recreate the artwork of the original fan club recordings. And of course, if you don't know, if you are just a casual fan, the Beatles had never done a Christmas album. You know, they never did, as much as I'm sure there was a lot of label pressure for them to do an album of Christmas classics, holiday classics. You know, the Beatles singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and a new Lennon and McCartney holiday classic. Just think, we could have got Wonderful Christmas Time in 1966. And Ding Dong. But that's another story there. But they didn't do that. Instead, for the fan club, they recorded these Christmas messages. These, you know, thanking the fans for it being a great year and wishing them a Merry Christmas. They were joking around and deliberately singing off key. But then in 66 to 67, they got creative with them, just as creative as they were getting in the studio, with 1966's pantomime, Everywhere's Christmas, which was done as a series of short skits and stories. And then in 1967 with Christmas Time Is Here Again, which again, they did it in the form of a series of British radio programs, and with effects and everything. But then when you get to 68 and 69, especially 69, they recorded their own separate messages, and it was up to DJ Kenny Everett to kind of edit them together. So you could kind of tell the story of the Beatles listening to all those back to back. So this, to me, is an important release for the fans. This is for the diehard fans. But as usual, there are naysayers. And I've addressed this before, and I addressed it on the video that I titled, When Will We Be Happy? And that was about the naysayers of the Sgt. Pepper box set, which to me, I'm still overwhelmed by it and still playing it now. Okay, I know you may have owned them on bootlegs, and I know that you don't buy vinyl. I mean, I do agree that there should be a CD release of this. I do agree there should be a CD release of the Christmas messages. That doesn't seem to be on the horizon, but they've surprised us before. You know, they have surprised us. But it seems like everybody has to have a loud voice in the message boards and on the Facebook communities to say, meh, I'm not buying it. Another cash cow from Apple. I'm going to let you know that I'm not going to buy it. And I want my voice to be heard here loudly that I'm not going to buy it. Well, if you're not going to buy it, then don't buy it. Simple as that. I don't think you have to let it be known, and I don't think you have to piss on everybody else enjoying this. And that's kind of like how I feel, because I really do think this is a good release. I like how they're doing it. Don't know what sources they're using for the pressings. I know the multi-track. I know I believe the tracks, with the exception of 63, are still available. So I don't know if they're going to the master tapes and doing a needle drop on 63, or if these are all going to be needle drops. I don't know. I know on the original compilation, 1963 was a needle drop, and a pretty scratchy needle drop at that. But I don't know what sources they're going to use. That remains to be seen. But, I'm happy for this release as a diehard fan who has wanted these and who's wanted to own I've wanted to own the originals for a decent price. Now, these aren't the originals, but if you want an original copy of any of these, you're lucky to find one in a price range between $100 to $200. That's on the low end. Yeah, go to eBay and type any of these in. I got this for $50, and this was sealed. And that was a steal. There are things that I am unhappy with as far as Apple is concerned and as far as Beatle releases. I mean, I would like Apple to do a bootleg series like what Bob Dylan does. But how much of that stuff am I going to listen to? I mean, if any of you guys are fans of Mark Lewison's The Beatles recording sessions, you will know that there's a period in 1967 after Sgt. Pepper when the Beatles were doing these unfocused jams. They'd arrive at a session, and the title of the day was going to be anything, and it was 27 minutes of bullshit, essentially. And there's a lot of that going on. Do we want to hear that? To a certain extent, I do, because I like the idea of the Beatles having clay feet. I think some of our greatest icons, be it Elvis and Michael Jackson, could have benefited with the idea that they were human. And I love those guys, and I really think if I could talk to especially Michael Jackson, I would say, Michael, get back to what it is. Release your mistakes. So some of that, would be interesting to hear. What are my thoughts on Let It Be? I'm not in a hurry for them to release it. I don't think it's a good film. I don't think it's a good documentary. Now, if they want to do what Elvis's people did with Elvis, That's the Way It Is, and do a recut, I'm not saying to lose the scandalous moments in the film. Yes, keep that there, because we know they were fed up with each other, they were hungover, they were drugged out, and whatever. Go ahead and release that, but let's edit to the music. And Michael Lindsay Hogg is a good director, where he could edit to the music. You've seen that in his Rolling Stones videos, especially, and also in Rock and Roll Circus. But I could wait on that. I'm not in a hurry for Let It Be, because I'm one of those people that's like, I have a good bootleg of it on DVD. I'm happy with that for now. And I am a bit upset about that. I wish they would reissue the anthology on Blu-ray with stuff that they edited out, and I would like them to reissue the anthology CDs, especially the undoctored versions of some of the outtakes. You have to look that up. A lot of the stuff that they used on the anthology was going to be used on a compilation called Sessions, which was supposed to come out back in the day, and then they canceled the release, and bootlegs were out there. So I would like something like that, but I'm not in a hurry for Let It Be. I do like this Christmas release, and some of the complaining about it is a bit unjustified. Because I can tell you this, if they didn't issue it, the same people would still be upset. So that's some of my thoughts on this. I'm going over 10 minutes here. I didn't want to do that, but that's my thoughts. I'm excited about it, and they get me in the holiday and Christmas spirit. And I'll finally be able to have some of the original artwork up close instead of on the back of this. Take care, and please feel free to give me your thoughts on this as well. I know we're not all going to agree on this, but we can agree the Beatles are cool.